Welcome to another edition of Tell It How It Is, no filter. I am Voice of Reason. Thanks for joining me once again. Summertime is the worst time to be under the weather, and I'm coming from that. So bear with me, because the show must go on. Sucks, man. You never want to be outside of 100, feeling 100, feeling strong, feeling healthy. But when it hits you sometimes, it's a Debbie Downer, because it's mostly mental. Because yes, you know you're not 100, but I feel like your mind allows you to feel like slightly defeated at the time. And rest is always needed, but I feel like sometimes rest is ammunition to not feeling well. You kind of got to keep it pushing. That's just a little bit of a rant, but it depends on the individual. But just mentally, it just like sucks. It's like, damn, I know I'm not 100, right? But whoever's going through similar or the same, get better soon and fight. Your immune system is key. All right, let's go. World Cup, the Final Four, like in basketball. France, Spain, England, Argentina. Now, I'm not into this heavy, but I know that the name Argentina ring off. Like, I know a lot of people talk about them. Let's just see how that plays out. If I had to predict without much knowledge, I say France versus Argentina. Let's see if I'm right. France versus Argentina in the chip. And this has been a takeover, man. New York has been going crazy, especially after the Knicks. Now the World Cup. It's been dope. All right. It's a drive-by right here. Jay-Z concert. While the Yankees were away in Washington playing the Nationals, Jay-Z picked a good time for them to be on the road to have 3 classic, legendary, memorable nights at our world famous Yankee Stadium. So night 1, the takeaways for me. Night 1, Beyonce, Blue. Blue was on that piano, boy. They doing Feeling It. That was fire. So Beyonce, Blue Ivory, and Nas coming out. The World Is Yours. It's classic, man. Those are stamped in history. So that was it for night 1. Of course, the entire thing, everything I seen, everything I heard, all research about it is nothing but good news, nothing but greatness, nothing but enjoyable for New York City. So for night 1, that's the takeaway for me. Night 2, bringing out Eminem. Just to hear Lose Yourself live again. Of course, the controversial Renegade, the talks in barbershops and amongst all our brothers who had the better verse. We get into that all the time. I feel, I'm an Eminem head. I ain't gonna hold you. No disrespect to Hove. And, you could also debate that they were just on different wavelengths. So could you really judge the better verse for real? Or is it more like, what did you like better? Not so much it was the better verse. So I'll be humble to say that. I like Eminem verse. But does that make it better? It's for you to pick apart. But either way, that was dope for him to come out night 2. To have M in the city is dope for me. Remember, this is my takeaway. You have yours. And then night 3, Joe and Jada to do 100 guns, 100 clips. I'm from New York. Being a little energetic, despite, you know what I'm saying? That was dope. And then, that's because, that helps them. They got their podcast, which is fire. They got the little controversy, Jada Kiss versus 38 Special right now. Pissing contest, sort of say, where Jada just had that dope verse, I guess defending himself and letting niggas know that don't come for me. Let's sleep in biz, sleep. So that's dope. That was iconic for history. Thank you, Hove. And I don't know the next time we'll have an event like this. You remember a few months ago, the Roots picnic was just as iconic, but to have a New York version and just stamp that for us in the same year that we kind of been having a good year, some classic things to our year. You know what I'm saying? But the Knicks winning this year is going to be stamped. This Hove concert this year is going to be stamped. You feel me? We got some good things for 2026 that we could kind of really look to more than the negative shit that always happens, that normally happens. The madness. You know what I'm saying? So those are two things that New York will hold for 2026. Got me? All right. The Shy. My show, man. You know, I know there's controversy over all these shows that's similar. You know, this just drug, Negro shit. You know, it's all the same. You know, all the flack you catch, you know, like what's creative about it? Can we get something positive? Can it be different? You know, whatever you got to say about it, that's cool. When you know you're living your life and the fruits of your labor, whatever you call entertainment is up to you. So I don't judge people who watch whatever they want to watch. Yes, you can say, I guess for the younger crowd, can we give them more positive, intelligent, influential stuff to lead them in a better direction? But you know what? They're going to sneak and dip and do and be into things regardless. It's just great parenting. You know, we kind of need the help. I get it. Like whatever our kids watch or into, we need help to complement the message we're trying to send. But listen, do your job. Parents, do your job. Your kids is going to be kids. You know, we don't got to encourage certain shit, but we can't stop everything. The Shy, my show. I fuck with it. Will Emmett tell Keisha the truth about what happened to Nuck? You know, spoiler alert. You should have watched. You should be up to date. But Emmett and Keisha about to get married. And, you know, marriage is a sanction. So truth, transparency. Don't come for me. I know I'm no angel. I'm no perfect person that always exercise or practice that. For those who knew I was married. But that's what maturity and growth will show. So if I ever got married again, take it easy. Take it easy. I need a commercial break. Nah. But anyway, yes, so it's truth, transparency. So will Emmett tell Keisha the truth about what happened to Nuck? Clearly she doesn't know the real story. And he does. So that's what we're looking forward to on the next episode. Next, Raising Kanan. Rock tells Marvin Kanan kills Lou. I could talk more about this than the Shy thing. The Shy is just, you know, I would like for him to tell her the truth, but I don't really want him to tell her the truth. Makes me a hypocrite, I know. But this, I feel like, Rock, if you gonna do that, you might as well off your son yourself. Because you know Lou coming for his Kofi. I mean, you know Marvin coming for his Kofi. And if you saw the episode clearly, you seen the beatdown. If I'm so thrown off that Jukebox, my bag. If Jukebox wasn't with Kanan might be dead. I know that's his show. That's what's making it interesting because it's his show. Can you really off him? He's not going to die, clearly. But Rock, what was that for? Was that an emotional decision to just say, this is what I'm going to tell him? Tell him? I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like that was real emotional more than strategic. But then she's always strategic, even in her emotion. So we'll see how that play out. But again, if you've seen that ass whipping, God, sheesh. They whipped them like they had no relations. I get that anger, though. But come on. Before I step away from this. Well, it was an accident. It's fucked up, but it was an accident, though. Does that excuse it? Nah. You gonna feel how you feel. That's your bro. I can't say I wouldn't feel the same. Plus, I ain't get the whole story. Marvin ain't get the whole story. I don't think that would change much if he heard what happened, but that's tough right there. But damn, Rock, hand your son to the wolves damn near. I guess that street shit and getting money is so important that you're willing to do whatever. That's my take on that. I'm off that. All right, to the real shit now. Words have power over action sometimes. So the other comment is action speaks louder than words. I feel like whatever act you do or don't do, based on the maturity, the level of respect, or the importance of the people, you still will have words to kind of like explain your action or give a chance to explain your actions. That's why I said words have power. So even when people don't mean much, see now when people don't mean much to each other, the words will have power immediately. You won't even get to act. So if you say some next shit, you say some shit to the left, you speak in a way that is a turn off, you may never get to act or redeem yourself in other words. So that's different there. So that's when the words impact immediate. But when you have a history, you have a relationship with people, you may do something that's questionable, but your words can maybe save you. And I'm not saying that to be malicious and be a effed up person. And then because you're good with your wordplay, use that to get out of the jam or to mislead people. I mean, really, when you do something and you realize what you did and you can see the wrong in it, and then you can have an intellectual conversation, it can be received, given is both ways. Then you know that you're dealing with maturity and you're growing up to the core, because everything don't gotta go super left and be like destroyed forever. You know what I mean? Some things can happen, actions can happen. You can have a sit down, a talk, and things can be worked out verbally. This is why I feel like words will always have power over actions sometimes, because we all make mistakes. And wherever our mind is when we make that mistake, it can be, a darkness. It can be a distraction. It can be whatever got you off your game. I'm understanding to know, because I did it too, that people sometimes are off. You know what I'm saying? It depends on the story though. We're not going to just forgive everything. Some things you can't use words at all. Not going to lie. There's some things you can't use words at all. But we hope the examples I'm giving is situations that can be discussed. It's all about how you express yourself and how articulate you are. You know what I mean? And how mature the other person is. So I feel like we need to practice this, learn how to explain ourselves, learn how to speak out. Because sometimes when we don't have words at all, that is why the action is suspect, because they never got to speak their words before. Sometimes beforehand can stop the action, being able to express yourself. But definitely it got to happen before or after. If no words are able to be expressed, that's why a lot of the actions be like crazy, bugged out. You're like, what the hell is that? Why did they do that? Why are they moving like that? Maybe they need somebody to talk to. That's not even funny. That's real. So words have power over actions, I feel, heavily. So try to explain yourself prior. Try to get it off your chest before you have to act. Or, like I said, at worst, be able to explain yourself after the fact. Because sometimes you won't go anyway. So you're going to do at the time whatever you feel you need to. And sometimes that action could get explained and make sense why. So it's not always you wild out and you can't come back because you did something too crazy. Sometimes you can explain your act and it does make sense, but you got to get there to know. Either way, interaction, communication, transparency, words have power. It's the name of this. Okay. And to close out, glad you could join me. Going where a third party invites you depends sometimes. We are so bougie. We are anal. We think we're special. There are times, and that's when emotion comes in sometimes more than logic. Based on how many people we know, that we're really cool with, close to. Keeping a small circle ain't a bad idea, because then this conversation is simple. If you got 3 family members you're tight with, and then three people you consider fam outside of being related, that's 6 people. Let me just give an example. If that's your circle, that's who you really rock with. So any of these 6 people hit you up for whatever, that's your circle. Now, if any of them invite you somewhere, it's simpler, easier to be like, all right, only like 6 people on earth. So if they invite me and it's awarded, the availability of when this thing is, your financial situation, whether you want to go outside or not, or, attend something. These things are first. So you can scratch this convo off the rip, because how you feel, the availability, and your financial status, whether, you want to say never look at it from that angle, you have to. You know what I'm saying? So you put these things in perspective first. And then we go to, all right, if I'm cool with 6, if they ask me out and all these things align, I'm going, even if it's not their event, because that's the point of this. So the 6 people you confide in, you rock with, they got it from someone else. That's what third party means. We know that, right? So you decide you go. But if it's not the 6, because you can't control who you can. But what I'm saying is, the people who are not that important 6, you're going to always know other people, interact with other people. That's, you don't have that power to really say, okay, I rock with 6 people, nobody else say shit to me. That's being ridiculous. So there's other people who are still cool. You can still have conversations with, you have interactions with, it's all good. So now you got those people that invite you somewhere, and that's a third party. So you don't really super rock with them either. You have no issue with them. And then whoever event it is like, well, that's even more of a person I don't really rock with. I don't have an issue with them, but I don't really, you know what I mean? So you can determine that, but you're not wrong to not go, or not want to go, or care to go. But if you feel, let's go back to those things in line. You want to step outside, the schedule aligns, your finances, you want to go. It's kind of secluded, selfishly saying, well, I did want to step out, and look, here comes an opportunity to step out. Fine. That's just, I feel like it's a little diabolical, because you wouldn't have gone initially. So there's things like that I point out, that if you weren't going to go initially without this battery, without this third party coming to you, because maybe you didn't even have knowledge of this event, or you saw it online, that is the big diabolical. Something online you see, you want to just pull up. Like, if it's a restaurant to like try their food and they drinks out, if you're that type of person, cool. You can online definitely check something out and go, oh, let me go see that. You're not going there for a person. You're going there for the experience. So let's say that, let's play more, let's get tricky. So now this third party invite is at a place of such that you looked up, or you might want to try them out. Then yeah, now you have a reason. Have your own reason is my point. Like the influence of, oh, nah, come on, you good. Like I don't like somebody to validate my value by saying it's okay, I'm welcome somewhere where whoever event it is didn't personally invite me, unless, again, I have my reasons for going. But if it wasn't even on the brain at all to be summoned to say, let's go here, it depends. Like I said, I go back to the 6 people. Who are your closest peoples? Maybe they have the leeway and the window to do this because you trust them. These are your ace boon coons. So if they say something and you want to step out, regardless of the dynamics of it, you probably will, because that's what you really rock with. But when the person inviting you is like, okay, and then the person whose event it is like, it's like, really? Would you really go? But you're not wrong. Again, if you don't want to go, you're not wrong. If you do want to go, you're not wrong. But I feel like, to be strongly opinionated, in my view, If it's not my top people or I wasn't invited directly, it's really 50-50. I will use the dynamic of the availability if I want to go outside and I paid all my bills and I got some change. So that's how that goes. But how you handle that is how you handle that. So I appreciate you for joining me as always. You know, my 3 Ps: stay positive, stay pushing, and stay progressive. Peace.
You ain't designed to glow, your darkness is your downfall. Plus you mad I'll always be first, like I'm the ground floor. Hey yo, sound boy, yeah they call me no noise. And I gotta be in rotation, you ain't got no choice. So easy the thoughts, not easily taught. And there's no competition, so y'all gon' get easily torched. This ain't a fair fight, who y'all got to jump me? Cause me to the game is like Michael and his monkey. But don't call me bubbles, I burst yours, it hurt more. 2 things I don't care about, turf wars or who twerk more. That young man shit, I'm super fully grown. So fuck the past, I'm in the future basic zone. But recognize the lesson, Sierra, future got it on. I know you ain't expected them to root for me this long.